Show. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. It means so much to me. Hunter Biden's laptop, as we start today's show, was just recently confirmed by New York Times as not Russian disinformation, Russian hoax, as we were told all last election. And not only that, people were taken off Twitter, people were taken off Facebook. The oldest newspaper in America was shut down for their information because they were pushing and peddling Russian disinformation. This is from Fox News, so if you hate Fox News, I'm sorry, but this is just one of the many news articles talking about it, about the New York Times article. The New York Times on Wednesday, very vaguely, apparently it was on the 25th paragraph, Tiger Man, what up, of their New York Times article, confirmed that Hunter Biden's laptop story was largely written off by the mainstream news outlets as disinformation when the New York Times first posted in the 2020 election. And the media watchdog went on to see the organizations that initially dismissed it reporting, as you and I both watch, as outlets who actively tried to cover up the original New York Post laptop story. Mika, what up? Absolutely need to correct the record, as journalist Holden told Fox News. These weren't simple misgivings. They were smeared as accurate, insignificant scoops as the competitor disinformation, and absolutely have the obligation to correct the record. So it's being corroborated. But, per usual, the corporate press is more concerned, maybe rightly, not rightly, depending on what you believe, the Ukraine war. But we have a president right now that the laptop was just confirmed that, yes, it is real. By the New York Times, of all places. And no one cares. And right now, the new Russian disinformation is if you question the war whatsoever. So forgive me if I am one of the people, maybe like you, that don't just jump on the bandwagon, whatever is said in the media of saying this is what the truth is. As I pull up some of the worst media misgivings over the last year, the Washington Post, the Steele dossier thing that got totally dismissed, Chris Cuomo saying goodbye, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Even I have family members still to this day that think that he shot 2 black people, which is just insane. The Ron DeSantis 60 Minutes interview, let's not forget that, of him signing a deal with Publix, and I guess it wasn't totally true. Russian bounties that was also found out to not be true, that people just went along with. Don't forget some of that stuff and some of the older stuff like Nick Sandman, Juicy Smollett, as media companies everywhere push that story down our throats. The Mueller report, House Correspondents' Dinner, Joe Biden mishandling young girls, which is always weird that no one wants to talk about. Media not standing up for Antifa, which is funny watching Arnold Schwarzenegger talk about how that was like the worst Arnold Schwarzenegger. That he's not... Russia is not denazifying Ukraine. I was like, wow, would have been nice of you to stand up while our cities burned and told Antifa, hey, there's not actually Nazis in America. And if there is, it's such a small percentage that you need to just go home and calm down and stop pretending that you're against Nazis and just say you're against the American government. It's different. The Jeffrey Epstein story, which we'll never get down to the bottom of, Steele dossier, and the list goes on. I like to know where Wiener laptop. Oh, thank you. God, I don't even want to talk about Wiener's laptop. So forgive me if I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of everything that's going on in Ukraine and Russia. I'm confused of what's real information. I think it's interesting, all these people that claim to know exactly what's going on. And if you're to question anything of what's in the news, including the biolabs, all of a sudden you're Russian disinformation, just like the Hunter laptop story. Anytime media, corporations, politicians immediately jump on, you're a Russian, you're speaking for Putin. It was funny when people were against the Iraq war, no one was calling the people against the Iraq war pro Saddam Hussein. You never saw that. So forgive me if I immediately hear Russian disinformation or speaking for Putin when so many things about anytime they say those things either turn out to be completely lies or they're pushing propaganda down your throats. Forgive me if I immediately perk up and think, maybe this is true. Or maybe I just need to calm down and not be like all the other corporate medias out there and just take a break for a second and read through the information and come to my own conclusion based on the information given, not just listen to whatever's being pushed down my throat. So maybe you're like me where you're just trying to figure out, but I am always curious when you hear Russian disinformation, what's the first thing you thought? All that stuff with Ukraine, okay. It's incredible all the stuff that they tell you is disinformation. Wuhan labs. There's so much the media is just willing to push down our throats and push down propaganda for their cause instead of just speaking the facts. You know, they always attack the people that question the facts instead of just providing the information of what's actually true. I wish the media was more, corporate media, politicians were more worried about just spreading the truth rather than going after people who question the truth. Because the only way to go after people that question the truth is just give the people the truth. But when you lie and you change propaganda, you change your message, you say the science has changed. Well, I guess the whole Hunter laptop story was actually real. Sorry. I know it could have swayed an entire election and maybe stopped much of what's going on right now today. But we wanted Joe Biden so bad in office that we did whatever it took. What did the media say? They will push heaven and earth in order for Joe Biden to be in office. And so when I see more and more stuff pushed down our throats, my first question is always, I don't believe you. Especially the minute you start calling somebody a Russian misinformation. The minute you start calling somebody names, straw-manning things, calling them an idiot, any kind of stupid arguments that I've seen is the minute I perk up and go, they must be on the nose, because why else would they be freaking out? Beep Beep says they only know the truth. They are here to protect you. Not please drink your Kool-Aid. Exactly. Don't question. Just listen. Don't question. Follow the truth. Follow whatever the information is being presented at you at the time. That's all the information you need to know. And if you were to question, well, you're questioning the truth. You're questioning a pillar. You're questioning a pastor. You're questioning a pope. You're questioning a God. I am Fauci. I am all that is knowing. I am all that. I am the being of all. So sit down and shut up. And even if my information changes over time because I wanted to only give you this amount of truth at the beginning, it's on you in the end, isn't it? And so that's my thoughts of this week, is that I think more and more you and me, more and more people in the world are just questioning the truth. And it's almost like by design, isn't it? We're just like, you know, I just don't trust anything. And it's just like, it doesn't matter what information or what source you get. And you're like, what's the political bent of this source? Why are they giving me this information now? And it goes back to always to the original sin of, is that really what God said? So we are in this position now as an America, as a country, as a culture, as a civilization, where we're struggling to find out what's true and what's false. Because all the pillars are being shaken, and that's why they're freaking out. That's why they push propaganda down your throat, and that's why they lose their minds when you question. That's why they call you a pro-Putin person, or anti-vax, or whatever nonsense they can think about at the time. Homophobic, racist, blah, blah, blah. They'll call you whatever name they can instead of just challenge your ideas. And that's where we're at. We don't know what's true anymore. Our foundations have been shaken, and so we don't trust our institutions anymore. And they can feel that energy as well. And so that's why today, more than ever, it's important to, whenever you hear information like myself, is to take a deep breath, and let it resonate for a couple of days. See if it becomes true. See if over time that information becomes more true or less true.